"Do you love my papa or what?" That was the first thing he ever said to him. No greetings. No shy smile. Just that, blunt, sharp, and loud enough to make every person in the cafe turn. Taiga, my 6-year-old son, stood there with his small fists balled up and his chin lifted like a soldier ready for war. He looked so much like his father when he got angry that it hurt to breathe. The man he spoke to, the tall stranger with cold gray eyes and a police-like posture, didn't even flinch. He just looked down at Taiga, quiet, unreadable, the corner of his mouth twitching slightly as if amused. I remember the moment too clearly. The smell of coffee, the sound of the rain outside, the way my son's voice broke through everything, shattering whatever fragile piece I had left. That day was the day Levi came into our lives. I never wanted to see another officer again. Not after what they did to Sam. Not after they painted my husband, my alpha, as a criminal, a threat, a man who needed to be taken down. They said he was dangerous. They said he was corrupt. They said he pulled a gun on a police officer. But none of that was true. I was there. I saw how they dragged him out of our home, still in his pajamas, confused, scared. And I saw the flash of a gun, the way his body dropped before I could even scream. I still remember the smell of blood, the silence that followed, and the voice of an officer, calm, rehearsed, saying he resisted arrest. Sam never even owned a gun. They covered everything. No trace. No files. No witness. Even the neighbors were silenced. I tried to speak up, but the moment I did, men in black suits came to my door. They told me to stop asking questions for my son's safety. That was 3 years ago, and I've been surviving ever since. Running my small flower shop on the edge of Manhwa district. Raising Taiga alone. Pretending everything was fine. Pretending I wasn't broken. Until Levi showed up. He came into the cafe near my shop one rainy afternoon. Dressed in a dark coat, tall, composed, and strangely quiet. Something about him didn't fit. His eyes sharp but tired. His voice low, smooth, but heavy like someone carrying too many secrets. He said he'd just moved into town. That he was looking for work. That he didn't know many people yet. He lied beautifully. I didn't know then that he was a police officer. A crooked one. The kind who only cared about rank and reputation. He'd been transferred to our district. The one crawling with mafia families, including mine. Yes, mine. I didn't ask for this life, but after Sam died, people started calling me the boss. I inherited everything he built, his businesses, his men, his enemies. I didn't want power. I wanted answers. But in Japan, power is the only way to survive. And Levi knew that. He was assigned to take down the mafias, to take me down. But instead of using guns or warrants, he used something far more dangerous. Charm. He started small. He'd stop by the cafe every morning, always at the same time. Sometimes he'd buy coffee for me too. "Black, no sugar, right?" he'd ask. I never told him my preference, but he already knew. He'd smile, quiet and controlled. I just noticed things. And I'd smile back, against my better judgment. Taiga didn't like him from the start. One morning, Levi came by the shop early, before opening hours. He brought a small toy car for Taiga. A police car, of course. Taiga looked at it, then looked at him, dead serious. "I hate police." Levi raised an eyebrow, pretending not to care. "That's okay," he said simply, placing the toy on the counter. "You don't have to like me." But I saw the faint flicker of something in his eyes, amusement maybe. Challenge. After that, Taiga declared war. He'd put sugar instead of salt in Levi's lunch when he visited. He'd slip cockroaches into his shoes. Once, he even poured pepper into Levi's coffee. Levi never yelled, never got angry. He'd just stare at Taiga with those cold eyes and say, "Is this your way of showing love?" Taiga would scowl, mutter something under his breath, and storm off. But sometimes, when I wasn't looking, I'd catch Levi watching us. Me. Taiga. Like he was trying to remember something he lost long ago. And sometimes I wondered if he could see right through me. Through the grief, through the anger, through the secrets I was hiding behind my smile. It took me weeks to realize he wasn't just some lost traveler. The way he asked questions, too specific. The way he seemed to know about our family businesses. And the way he never talked about his past. I started to feel it, that tension, that fear that something wasn't right. But then he'd do something unexpected. He'd show up with a bouquet of lilies. He'd help me close the shop when it rained. He'd make Taiga laugh, the kind of laughter I hadn't heard since Sam died. And slowly, dangerously, I started to let him in. One evening, After closing the shop, he stayed to help me pack the flowers. It was quiet. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the rain against the glass. He leaned on the counter, watching me. "You work too hard," he said softly. I didn't look up. "It's better than thinking too much." "About your husband?" The way he said it made my heart stop. I froze. "How do you know about that?" He smiled faintly. "Small town. People talk." But his eyes said something else. Something sharper. I turned away, pretending to arrange roses. "People should learn to mind their business." "Maybe," he said. "But sometimes the truth hides in gossip." When I looked back at him, his face was unreadable, calm, too calm. That night, when he left, I locked the door twice. Days turned into weeks. And I started to notice things I shouldn't have. A strange car parked across the street too often. A man in a black jacket watching the shop from afar. A call that ended the moment I said hello. And Levi, he became different too. Colder. More distant. His eyes sharper. His smile thinner. One night I followed him. He went into an abandoned building near the port. When I peered through the broken glass, I saw him talking to two men in suits. They handed him a file. He flipped through it, then nodded. And I heard one line before they left. "If you take him down quietly, Commander, your promotion is guaranteed." My blood ran cold. Commander. Promotion. Take him down. He wasn't some lost traveler. He wasn't even a friend. He was one of them. He was the reason Sam died. Or at least, part of the same machine that killed him. That night, I couldn't sleep. Levi came the next morning, as usual, with 2 coffees. "Rough night?" he asked gently. I stared at him, my hands trembling. "Levi," I said. "Who are you, really?" He smiled, slow, careful. "Does it matter?" "It does to me." He placed the coffee cup on the counter, his eyes locking with mine. "I'm someone trying to make things right," he said quietly. "That's all." I almost believed him. Almost. That evening, when I went upstairs, Tyga was waiting by the door. He looked serious, too serious for his small face. "Papa," he said. "Don't trust that man." I sighed. "Tyga." "No," he cut me off, his little voice shaking. "He's lying. He's not who he says he is." I saw him. My heart stopped. "Saw him." Tyga looked down. "Talking to police. Near the bridge." For a moment, everything inside me went still. "Are you sure?" I whispered. He nodded. "I'm sure." I tried to smile, to calm him, but my hands were cold. My heart was cold. Because deep down, I already knew he was right. Later that night, as I lay in bed, I kept hearing Tyga's voice in my head. "Don't trust that man." But another voice, Levi's, echoed just as loud. "I'm someone trying to make things right." The rain didn't stop. The city felt smaller. And I knew. I was standing between the truth and another disaster. If I pushed him away, I might survive. If I let him in, I might burn again. And still, when the doorbell rang at midnight, I found myself walking toward it. I opened the door. Levi stood there, dripping wet, his eyes darker than the night. He said one line. A line that made my heart stop completely. "I know who killed your husband." The moment he said those words, the air froze. "I know who killed your husband." I didn't move. I just stared at him, at the rain running down his face, at the way his hand gripped the doorframe like he was holding on to something heavier than himself. "Say that again," I whispered. He stepped inside slowly, dripping onto the wooden floor. "I know who killed Sam," he said, voice low, almost breaking. "And I know why." The house was quiet except for the sound of Tyga's soft breathing upstairs. I could feel my pulse pounding in my ears. "How?" I asked, my voice shaking. "How could you possibly know that?" Levi looked around, then took off his wet coat and hung it over the chair. His shirt clung to his body, and I could see the scar on his collarbone. A deep, thin line like a reminder of some war he'd never talk about. "Because," he said slowly, "I was there." The words hit me like a blade. I stumbled back a step. "You what?" He looked straight at me, no lies this time, no fake smiles. Just that cold honesty that cut deeper than anything else. "I wasn't the one who pulled the trigger," he said. "But I was on that team." My throat burned. My knees felt weak. You were one of them?" I said, barely breathing. "You helped them kill him?" He didn't answer right away. He just rubbed his face with his hands, like he was trying to wash the guilt off. "I didn't know the truth then," he said finally. "We were told he was part of a drug ring. That he had ties to underground deals. That he'd taken a hostage." I laughed. It came out bitter, sharp. "And you just believed that?" He looked at me, eyes dark. I was a cop. I believed what I was told. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed the nearest thing, a vase, and threw it. It hit the wall just beside him, shattering. "Get out!" I screamed. He didn't move. "Itsuma. Don't say my name." My voice broke. "You lied to me. You lied to my son. You came into my house, my life, acting like you cared, but you were one of them." His voice dropped, soft but steady. "You deserve to know the whole truth before you hate me." I wanted to hate him already. But something in his voice, the rawness, the way it trembled just slightly, made me hesitate. I folded my arms, breathing hard. "Then talk." He ran a hand through his hair and sighed. "After your husband's death, I started seeing things that didn't add up. Reports rewritten. Evidence destroyed. Witnesses gone. Someone at the top was cleaning it up." "Someone at the top?" I repeated. He nodded. "A commander. Someone who wanted your husband gone because he found out about their illegal deals with the mafia." My stomach turned. "You're saying the police were working with the mafia?" He gave a short, humorless laugh. "Not all, but enough to make justice impossible." "And you?" I asked. "What did you do when you found out?" His voice lowered. "I tried to expose it. I was warned. Then I was transferred here, to shut me up." I stared at him, searching his eyes for truth. There was pain there. Real pain. And regret. But regret didn't bring Sam back. "Why come to me?" I asked quietly. "Why pretend to care?" He hesitated. "At first, it was the job. I needed to get close to you. To the people who run this district. To your family. And now?" I asked. His eyes softened. "Now it's not about the job anymore." I felt my heart twist. I wanted to scream, to throw him out, to tell him he didn't have the right to say things like that, not after what he'd done. But instead, I whispered, "You think I can trust you after this?" He stepped closer, slow, careful, like approaching something fragile. "No, but I'm still going to protect you." "Protect me?" I scoffed. "From what?" He looked toward the window. "From the same people who killed Sam. They know I've been talking. And they know you're asking questions again." Lightning flashed outside. And in that moment, I saw something in his expression, fear. Not for himself, but for me. We stood there in silence for a long time. The rain got heavier. The night colder. He reached out, hesitating, then brushed his thumb against my wrist, barely touching. "I never meant to hurt you," he said quietly. "If I could go back." "Don't," I whispered, pulling my hand away. "Don't say that." He nodded, swallowing hard. "Then let me make it right now. Please." "By doing what?" "Finding who gave the order to kill him. And ending it." Something in his voice told me he meant it. That he wasn't just saying what I wanted to hear. But I couldn't let him see the part of me that still wanted to believe him. So I turned away. "You should go." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said softly, "You're not safe anymore, Itsuma. Neither is Taiga. If anything happens, call me." He left without another word. That night, I sat on the couch, unable to sleep. I kept hearing his voice. I was there. And I kept seeing Sam's face, the shock, the fear, the way he fell. When Taiga came down for water, he found me awake. He rubbed his eyes sleepily. "Papa." I smiled faintly. "Go back to bed, sweetheart." He frowned. "Was he here again?" "That man." "Yes," I said softly. "Did he hurt you?" "No. He just told me something." Taiga sat beside me, his small hand resting on mine. "I don't like him," he said firmly. "He makes your eyes sad." That made me laugh a little, though it hurt. "You're too smart for your age, you know that?" He grinned. "You're too nice for yours." The next day, I tried to go back to normal. Shop. Flowers. Customers. But something was off. There was a car parked across the street again. Same one as before. And that night, someone followed me home. I turned around near the alley, and there he was, Levi. He wasn't smiling this time. His jaw was tight. His eyes alert. "Why are you following me?" I snapped. "Because they're following you," he said. He pointed behind me, and I turned just in time to see two men disappear into a side street. "Who are they?" I asked. "People who want to keep you quiet," he said. "They know you've been asking about Sam again." My blood ran cold. Before I could reply, a rock hit the wall beside us, a warning shot. Levi grabbed my wrist. "Come on." We ran down the alley, the sound of footsteps behind us. Rain slicked the ground, and my heart pounded so fast I could barely breathe. When we finally reached the back of the flower shop, he pushed me against the wall, shielding me. "Stay quiet," he whispered. I could feel his heartbeat, fast, strong, desperate. For a moment, everything went still. The world shrank to that narrow alley, that shared breath, that storm. When the footsteps faded, he finally let go. "You see," he said, breathless. "You're not safe anymore." I stared at him, trembling. "Why are you doing this, Levi? Why help me now?" He met my eyes, his voice breaking. "Because I can't lose another innocent person." I didn't know whether to trust him or hate him more. But as he turned to leave, I caught his arm. "Levi," I said softly. "If you're lying again, I'll find out." He gave a faint, tired smile. "I'd expect nothing less from you." Then he walked into the rain and disappeared. That night, I found an envelope under my door. No name. No return address. Inside was a single photo, blurry, taken years ago. Sam, Levi, and another man in uniform. On the back, a handwritten note. He wasn't supposed to die. Find the commander. My hands went numb. My breath caught, because the signature beneath it was Levi's. But the ink was old. Too old. The photo slipped from my hands. It landed on the floor, face up. Sam's smile staring back at me through time. Levi's figure standing beside him like a shadow I had never noticed before. The signature at the back, it was Levi's. But the ink was faded, aged, at least 3 years old. 3 years. The same time Sam died. I sank to my knees, my mind spinning. Levi had said he was transferred here after Sam's death. He said he only learned the truth later. But this photo said something else. He'd known Sam. He'd known him before that night. My hands trembled as I picked up the photo again. My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd faint. Why would he lie? What did he really want from me? The rain outside grew heavier, as if the whole world was trying to wash something away. And for the first time in years, I was afraid again, not of the police, not of the mafia, but of the truth itself. The next morning, I went straight to Levi's apartment. He didn't answer the first time I knocked. Or the second. On the third, the door creaked open. The room was dim, half-packed, papers everywhere, a gun on the table, a bottle of whiskey beside it. And Levi sat on the couch, staring at the same photo I'd found. He didn't even look surprised to see me. "You found it," he said quietly. I stepped in slowly. "You knew Sam?" He nodded once. "Yes. You told me you didn't." I lied. "Why?" I whispered. He leaned back, exhaling shakily. "Because if you knew the whole story, you'd never listen to anything I said after." "Then tell me now," I said, my voice shaking. Levi looked at me for a long time before he spoke. His voice was low, cracked, and raw, like someone tearing open old wounds. 3 years ago, he began, Sam was helping the police from the inside. He was gathering information on a commander who was working with the mafia. He was supposed to give me that evidence. But the commander found out first. I blinked. "What are you saying?" "Sam wasn't the target at first," Levi said. "I was. But when he realized they were coming for me, he tried to take the blame. He tried to protect me." My breath caught. "Protect you?" Levi nodded slowly. "He walked out that night to draw their attention away from my location. I begged him not to go, but he said," Levi's voice cracked, "someone has to survive to tell the truth." My vision blurred. I felt dizzy, sick. "So they killed him," I whispered. Levi's jaw tightened. "The commander shot him. And I couldn't stop it. My tears came before I could stop them." "You were there," I said. "You watched it happen." His voice broke. "Yes." For a moment, silence filled the room. Just rain, breathing, and the ghosts between us. "Why didn't you tell me?" I whispered. He looked down. "Because I didn't deserve your forgiveness. I thought if I stayed close, maybe I could protect you this time. Maybe I could finally do something right." I turned away, covering my mouth as a sob slipped out. All this time, the coffee, the flowers, the quiet mornings, all built on a lie. A lie to ease his guilt. And yet, a part of me still wanted to believe he meant it when he said he cared. That evening, the storm got worse. Levi insisted on walking me home. He said it wasn't safe. We didn't talk much, just the sound of our footsteps on wet pavement. When we reached the shop, the lights were off. Too quiet. "Stay here," he said. "Levi." He put a hand on his gun. "It's fine. Just stay close." But the moment he opened the door, a small voice came from the dark. "Don't move." Levi froze. The light flicked on. Tyga stood by the counter, holding Sam's old gun with both hands, the one I thought I'd hidden years ago. His small arms trembled, but his eyes were fierce. "Tyga!" I shouted, stepping forward. He didn't look at me. His eyes were on Levi. You lied to us. Taiga, put that down. I begged. Please. He lied. Taiga yelled, his voice breaking. You said you wanted to protect us, but you were the one who got Papa killed. Levi's face went pale. He raised his hands slowly. Taiga, listen to me. Don't talk, the boy shouted. You think I don't know? I heard you last night. You said you were there. You killed him. I didn't. Stop lying. Tears spilled down Taiga's cheeks. His whole body shook, but his fingers stayed on the trigger. Taiga, please, I said softly, moving closer. You don't want to do this. He hurt Papa, Taiga whispered. He'll hurt you too. No, I said. No, he won't. Levi lowered his hands, his voice calm but trembling. Your father was a brave man, Taiga. He saved my life. And I failed to save his. That's the truth. Taiga's grip faltered for a second, just a second, but then he looked at me. His eyes were full of pain. Papa, if I don't do this, he'll come back again. People like him always come back. No, I said, tears streaming down. You're not like them. Please. But the world moved too fast. A sound, too loud, too final, filled the room. Silence. For a second, I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Levi was on the floor. His hand pressed against his chest. Blood dark, heavy, spread across his shirt. He looked up at me, then at Taiga. And he smiled. A small, tired, almost peaceful smile. It's okay, he whispered. He protected you. Then his hand fell. And he didn't move again. I dropped to my knees, shaking, pulling Taiga into my arms as he cried. I didn't mean to, he sobbed. I didn't mean to, Papa. I know, sweetheart, I whispered, tears falling onto his hair. I know. Outside, the sirens wailed, faint at first, then louder, closer. Maybe they were coming for us. Maybe for the body. Maybe for the truth. But all I could do was hold my son and stare at the man who had ruined and saved us all at once. Levi, the crooked officer who wanted redemption too late. Days passed before the police cleared the scene. They called it self-defense. They said Levi had gone rogue, that he was working alone. They never mentioned the commander. They never mentioned Sam. Everything was covered again. Neat. Clean. Silent. But I knew. And Levi knew wherever he was. It's been 6 months now. The shop reopened. Taiga laughs again sometimes. But there are nights when I still see Levi's eyes in my dreams. The way he looked at me before the end, not angry, not scared. Just relieved. Maybe he finally found peace. Maybe Sam did too. As for me, I still talk to them both when the rain gets too heavy. And every time Taiga asks why it rains so much in this city, I tell him the truth. The only truth that still matters. It rains, I say, because some people's hearts were too full to stop bleeding.